A family's budget is a financial plan that outlines a household's income, expenses, and savings. It is a way to plan ahead for how to spend money on needs, wants, and savings. Of course, you've always had it. He who fails to plan has planned to fail. How much have you planned your family expenses? Maybe a little budgeting, maybe a little planning could get you out of debt. Maybe a little planning, a little budgeting could increase your savings and hence increase your investment. How do you do this? We are going to go step by step, practical steps in preparing a budget. In fact, I'll be preparing one with you in this session. Join me on the other side.
Waking up at dawnlight, breaking through, chasing dreams, no time to lose. In this race we strive and grind, motivation fuels the mind. Gonna rise up, we won't fall, breaking barriers through it all. Step by step our journey's clear, success is close and don't you fear. Challenges we face headstrong, in this rhythm we belong. Skies are high, but so are we, building castles where we're free. Gonna rise up, we won't fall.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for joining us once again. This is another episode of the Training Financial Intelligence for Smart Parents. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about effective budgeting, practical, effective way to make your budget. And in this training, if you wait till the end, I'll be giving you some tips, some links to a template that you can download already done for you that you can actually build your family budgets on. So I want you to stick around. And if this is the very first time that you are joining on this channel, we've had so many training based on the family and your children, how you prepare your children's expenses, how you prepare emergency reserve funds, how you set goals, and a lot more. I want you to click the subscribe button right now. If you click the subscribe button, or you go down to the description, click on the channel's link at the description and click subscribe there. You'll be able to watch all the previous videos. I tell you, you'll be grateful that you actually did. So, all right, let's go ahead as we go into this practical session. Before we go into the practical session, it is important that we understand why we need a budget. We define success as the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So one of the tools that helps you in achieving your success is budget. When you set goals, you are able to set budget to achieve those goals, whether financially or otherwise. So as we defined earlier, that a budget is a family budget is a financial plan that outlines the household's income, the expenses, and savings. It's a way to plan ahead for how to spend money on needs, on wants, and savings. So why do we really need to create a family budget? Just as I was trying to say earlier, it helps families to make smart financial decisions. You know, we did a session on financial decisions, and you need to go watch that also. What informs the decision? Is it a rule of thumb? Is it by experience or by adequate planning that informs the decision that you make as a family? So it helps family to live within their means, helps families to avoid impulsive purchases, and helps families save for emergencies and retirement. So all this, if you put them together, you know that there's a great reason for you to put up a budget. So how do you create a budget? what informs the process of the budget that you want to prepare as a family. And mind you, it is important that the husband, the wife, and the children are involved in this process. If you are yet to be married, then as an individual, sit with yourself and by yourself and prepare this budget. I want you to pay attention to every detail. I'm going to leave a link. I've prepared a sheet for you that you can use to do this initial setup. Our expenses and narratives might be different, but the principle is the same thing. And for the first time, I'm going to show you how you are going to combine two kinds of budgeting system: the 50-30-20 rule, which we have explained in one of our training, the 50-30-20, and the zero balance budget. We're going to be combining them together. I tell you, you won't see it anywhere on the net yet. You won't see it anywhere where it is combined like this. So pay attention, draw closer, get your notebooks, and you may have to watch this presentation, this video again for you to be able to get it very well. And then you should be able to download and print some of the materials. So let's go straight down into the practical session. How do you create the budget? Firstly, you want to look at setting the goals. What is the family goal? What do we want to achieve in this year? What is your year starts from the day you realize that you really want to do something. So what do we want to achieve as a family? So we got to set a family goal. We need to sit down, and this will help us to bond properly as a family. So let's go down. There's a tool called the Excel tool that is used for budget. So peradventure, you just have your mobile phone. It is good. You can use it on your mobile phone. They are editable. The files are Google files, Google Sheets, so you can edit them. But I want to encourage you, kindly download these things before you begin to do your editing. Let's go straight into this practical session. All right. So let's see. This is, just like I said, please kindly download to your device before making adjustments on this particular sheet. So let's look at this. It's meant to be a guideline on how you will make your expenses, how you will track your expenses, and then allocate your resources. You know, resources are scarce, but you need to have adequate tracking for them. So let's go into the items one by one. Now, in going through these items, I want you look at this at the top here. We have the monthly family budget. So you can name it your own. You can type what you want there. Our family's budget of hope or something, whatever you want to do. All right. So here there's a summary sheet at this top. Please do not touch this area. Maybe I should just type something here that do not touch. All right, that do not touch that area. That's this aspect. All right. So this place, as you are imputing all your expense, it will sum up in this place. Just take for instance, if I delete a particular figure here now, you see that there's a change here. This becomes 1.9. All right, this becomes 1.9. So let me return it back to it. So everything that you need to do, let it be within the expenses area so that you will not mess up the chart. Okay, so let me put that figure back. That's 100,000. Now right here on this side, we have the projected monthly income source. Now, we have income 1, income 2. For the purpose of this class, I have just put some hypothetical figures. You could just put your own in your own currency. Now, here, I assume income 1 is maybe the man's income. Income 2 is the woman's income, if the woman is working. Or vice versa. This could either be income 1, could be the woman, or it doesn't matter yet. That's why we just put income 1 and income 2. Then extra income is that income that comes maybe from any other side hustle. If you don't have it, you can delete and make that aspect 0. So you can rightly make your input here. You make the input here. If let's say your income is 200,000, you can put it there 200,000. The second person's income is 500,000 or thereabout, and you have the side hustle that gives you 300,000, and so on and so forth like that. So this side is adjustable. Okay, so here let's now go to the expense area. Now, when we talk about, I told you how we're going to make zero-based budget, zero balance budget, a zero balance budget, and the 50-30-20 rule budget. We're going to be fusing them together. Now, when you talk about budget, quickly, let me explain this aspect to us before we go ahead. When you are making a budget, there are 3 terms for any budget. You either have what you call a budget deficit or a budget surplus. If it is not a budget deficit or surplus, then it is a balanced budget. When is it a budget deficit? A budget deficit is when your expenses are more than the income. Let's say after doing all this, you find out that your expenses is about 2.2 million and your income is just 2 million. That means 200,000, you funded it, maybe you borrowed money or something. So that is what you have, a 200,000 deficit. Now, also we have a budget surplus. What is a budget surplus? Budget surplus is when your income far outweighs your expenses. Here you have your income like 2 million and then your expenses is about 1.8 million. Here you have a budget surplus of about 200,000. I hope that is pretty clear. And then if your total expenses and your total income are balanced, 2 million, 2 million, that means it's a zero balance. It's zero balance. Based on this, you have a balanced budget. And this is about the best that is always recommended. In this example, we are going to be working with a zero balance budget. We'll be working with a zero balance budget. And the reason is this. Presently, you know what your income is. You know what your income is. And we want to do well to allocate all that income. There should be no idle fund anywhere. I don't know whether you've observed this. Anytime you have some idle fund somewhere, maybe you put it in your month, you have an extra 100,000. I don't really have anything to do with it. I just keep it in my account. Somehow you just see that money goes. You can't just, it will just go. So it is better that every part of your income, all your income must be allocated to a particular place. So let's go ahead as we go do this. In this particular example, for this man here, the total family income is 2 million. So here, let me come back here to make that adjustment. Let me make the adjustment in this place. So we have 1.3 million. This is 1.3 million. And then maybe this is 200,000. All right. So the expected income, the expected total income for this family is 2 million. It should be combined. If you don't get that, the basis of the combination, then you need to go watch the immediate previous video. It will be put up in a link after this video so that you can go and watch why couples should have joint accounts. And if you don't have joint account, no problem. The two of you should come together to agree on some of the things that is being highlighted here. So let's go on. Here in the projection, we have the mortgage or rent. And here this person is budgeting 100,000 for the monthly rent. Now, in some countries, you don't pay rent monthly, you pay rent per annum. It is wisdom for you as a person, though you pay your rent per annum, you ought to make monthly provision for that rent. So let's say, for instance, your total rent is about 1.2 million naira per annum. That 1.2 is not in the month of payment that you're going to raise that kind of money. You ought to have been raising that money, putting that money aside, so that once it gets to that period, you can just make a withdrawal and pay the landlord. Also, if you are the house owner, in most cases, we always advise, assuming you own your house, you are not paying rent, but you should make provision for that house rent. You need to ask, how much does it cost to rent a house in this area? So as you are having an income, as you are making your income, you are paying that rent, because at a point in time, you will need to do something in that house. You will need to maybe renovate. You will need to buy another something will happen. So always make that provision. So for this particular one here, we made this person is 1.2 million. So divided by 12, this gives us 100,000. Imagine if you do this every month. There's no way that man is going to be embarrassed at the end of the period. The second mortgage, maybe you have another rent, maybe your office rent or something. Or of course, the office rent is supposed to be taken care of by the office expenses. So if you don't have a second rent house, no problem. Now, all these are projected. These are almost like, this is what should be. This is what we are spending money on. So when we impute, just look at all these on phone. Under this we have housing. On other housing we have the phone, electricity, gas, water, cable. The one that is not affecting you, you just leave it aside. So by the time we come down, you can see the transportation. Under transportation we have vehicle. Now please, for the aspect of this vehicle, I explained something on the aspect of the rentals. You see, for the vehicle, for some of us in some countries, you can buy your cars on hire purchase or something. In some countries, like in Nigeria, you actually pay your cash. You take your cash to the bank and to the dealership and you buy the car. But now, there's something that you should try to do as a smart parent, as a financially intelligent person. So let's say you bought that car for 20 million naira. Let's just assume you bought that car for 20 million naira. Now, every month, note that even though you have paid off this car, remember, from the day you take it out of the dealership, that car begins to lose value immediately. And that is why the accountants will make provision for what we call depreciation. So you as an individual, you should make the same provision for yourself. Of course, you are not paying it out to anyone. You are setting this fund aside. So if I bought this car for 20 million, now I'm going to depreciate it over 10 years. In corporate organization, it is normally 4 years. But for an individual, you are permitted to give it about 10 years. If you use a car well for 10 years, you've tried with that car anyway. So let's take 20 million naira. So where we have 20 million, let me see if I can pull up a calculator here. Okay. So where we have, just a minute. Okay, so where we have 20 million, please follow this thing. I tell you, it will help you. 20 million, I'm going to make a provision for 10 years for this car. Now, 20 million, 10 years is going to be like 120 months. So I'm going to say divide this 20 million by 120. So this gives me This gives me about 166,000 naira. That means I should set aside 166,000 naira because that car is not a luxury for me. I am using it for something. I'm using it for the work. I'm using it for something. So I need to admit that cost and make a provision somewhere. So that's why you see this 166,000. Now, you might have used your own car for more than that. At your own discretion, use the best calculation, but make sure you make a good provision. Do you know what is going to help you to do? Because you are making this provision and setting it aside, and probably you'll be putting it in some investment portfolio also. At the time you need to buy another car, I tell you, you will not struggle to do so. Smart moves, smart financial moves, all right? This, I'm telling you, you will not hear from many places like this. Okay, now here you go to taxi fare, maybe the children, they need to get somewhere where you are not taking car. Just check out what should we spend. You put in all those figures here. Then under the insurance, we have home insurance, we have health insurance, we have like the health insurance policies. Under the health insurance, like in the Rich Vision group, we have the NHIA, which is about 15,000 naira per annum for your health care and things. So for that, what do you do? 15,000, you can make, even though you are going to make the payment once, learn to distribute even annual expenses into monthly. Learn to distribute annual expenses into monthly so that you can absorb them. Okay, so let's look at under groceries. We have maybe the family is spending about 300,000 naira on food, on groceries, and dining out. When maybe you want to dine out. It's not every time that mommy is ready to cook and then let's just go eat out. So some of the days you eat out, fine, you put them here. So we're spending almost 330,000 naira on feeding. Well, for somebody with an income of about 2 million, I tell you, I know it that you will spend more than this. You will probably spend more. You will even spend more than this. But just to balance the views of everyone on the call, all right? Everyone watching. So here, let's look at the children expenses. What do we consider? You see the medicals, their clothing. Now, you don't buy clothes for the children every month. You make a plan. We're going to buy the children's clothes for maybe the amount we're going to spend on children's clothes this year. We're going to spend maybe 500,000, 100,000 and things. Whatsoever you plan, you now divide that amount. So let's say we plan to spend 500,000 naira on the children's clothing in this year. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, for us to be able to put it up in our budget, we just do 500 divided by 12. So that's about 41,600 naira. Hence, what it means is this: every month we make a provision of 41,600 naira or thereabouts. I didn't want to be changing these figures for me to maintain. So these are the budgets. We have not put in the actual. There's the actual column, there's a projected. This is a projection. So this is it. It shouldn't come to maybe the December period, the vacation period. That's when you are now looking for money to loan, to borrow in order to pay. No, that is poor planning. How about the school tuition fees? The tuition, you break it down. You pay, this is the amount you pay annually, divide it by 12, and then make provisions for it on monthly basis. So having done that, then you have legal. If you have legal issues or you have your legal team that you are paying, make provision for it. Then savings. See, one of the places that you need to come to first once you begin to do your budget is this savings and investment. And I always advise, the first thing you want to do, 10% of your income, 10% of your income, allocate it to your retirement account. So this man is earning 2 million per annum. So the first thing he wants to do is, what is 10% of 2 million? You bring it into your retirement account. Make provision. Money that you have not saved will not save you. The best energy you have now, you may not have it in the next 10, 20, 30 years. So make provision for it today. Then how much should go into your investment? At least half or the same amount that you have. Just know what you are putting in investment. You see this aspect? This is the aspect that will determine how wealthy you become. So know how to prioritize, how to add to this place. This is what determines your wealth. Remember, every other thing here, they are expenses. Now, let's go to this place. We have the gift item. Oh, I need to give some offering in church. I have to, take care of my parents. How much are you giving to your parents? How much are you giving to your siblings? Based on agreement between the two of you, you should have that agreement. When you agree on it, nobody is going to come between you and your spouse. So everything I just put charity 1, charity 2 here. You can put in-law 1, in-law 2. You can even put it by their names. And then the other one, there is going to be another one where you don't put anybody's name in case somebody needs help. In case somebody say, come and borrow me money or something, this one comes in there. Then maybe you have pets and things, which is not too common, but you can, if you don't have it, then you can change this narration to what you really do have. Then we have personal care. You have some medicals, your hair, your clothing, dry cleaning expenses. This might not be your own directly. You can change them to the narratives of the expenses that you have. Then you have your taxes also. Of course, for people that are salary earners, it is deducted from source. But for those people that are entrepreneurs, you need to make the provisions here. And then entertainment, streaming apps. There are some apps that you pay money for regularly. There are online games that your children, maybe they subscribe to. You need to make provisions for it. Movies, like you are paying for the Netflix, your DSTVs and everything. You make all this one comes under entertainment. Live theater, where you need to go out with the family to have fun and things. Make a budget for it. And no, I don't do it. Do you desire it? If you desire it, make provision for it. Then it's when you get to the actual. Then we get to the loan aspect. Now you've taken some loans from people. You want to make sure that there is enough provision. If you are using credit cards or anything, you make provisions for how you pay them back. Now, you see, we've done all the expense there. Now, I tell you, if in case any of the kind of expense that you incur does not appear here, please do well to impute. Now, here, we now have the projected. As I told you, this income is meant to be 2 million as from this. But what is the actual income? We cannot say, because there might be a cost of change of job. There might be increase in business profit. So the actual is what we are going to put in this place. Okay, so let's look at. Then on this other part, let me explain this part so that you will understand what's going on here. This part is a summary of every other thing that we have put in that place. I think I added some figures somewhere, so that's why this is it's meant to be 2 million. Exactly, because already, can you see our projected balance? Can you see that we are having a negative 11,600 here, which is what? Can you remember that? Type it in the comment section right now. I say when your expenses is more than your income, it is called what? Quickly put it in the budget section in the comment section. Let me see, just everyone. If you are listening to me, just engage yourself in it. Why don't you just type it in? All right. Let's see. Okay. I think let me put this at 150,000. Okay. I hope you've done that. Okay. our total here. We now have, can you now see at this point now I changed the figure there. Now it is positive now, the projected. The income now is more than the expense. If I put a cursor here, you look at the formula here, it says H8 minus C5. H8 comes to the place where your total income is. Then C5 is where your expenses are. You get it. So you see at this place that is 4,000. I just want to make this thing I need to make it just, so let me just add something here. 9,400. Sorry. I hope you are, please, if you are getting me, I want you to just type, I'm getting it. Just type it in the chat box. I am getting it. Put it there. I think I'm trying to be as practical enough for you to be able to use this template. I'm going to leave these templates in the link in the description so that you can pick it up. Now here, look at the expense here. When you break it down, this is all those things that we have done in that place. By the time we start imputing the actual figures, you see them add up in this session also. Now we have broken them down into the needs. Remember the 50-30-20 rule, the needs, the wants, and the savings. So here I call it the needs, which are the compulsory expenses. Then we have the future, which is your savings. And then we have the fun, which is your wants, those things that you are using to have fun. Okay, so let's just go and see. Let's try to impute some of the things. Now, in the real life sense now, in the next month, maybe as at the time you are watching, you are in the month of March, February, or what? Let's say we're in the month of February. Now, when the income comes, when I receive the salary or the profit or whatsoever the income is from the month, I come to the actual monthly income. If there is no change of job, this is likely to remain the same thing. And if there's a promotion, well, maybe it's going to be, let's look at the second income, maybe the wife's income. Maybe she's into business and for one reason or the other, she made more money in the process. At this time around, she made about, instead of 500,000, actually they made about 600,000. And the extra income, maybe they are putting up YouTube content and things, online drop shipping, different online deals. Now that income comes to about 300,000. Wow. So this, you can look at right away, this family can know that we made more money this month than we even projected. All right. So with this, we have, okay, this is the actual balance because we are yet to impute this. You see projected balance here. Under our projection, because our income is 2 million and the expenses is 2 million, so our projected balance is 0. So that's why I say zero balance budget. Is a zero balance budget. All right. So now let's go impute the actual expense. Just because of time, I'm going to do this fast. Maybe in this place now we have 103. Okay. Sorry. Let's just have something 12000. Why? Maybe there was an increase. The landlord caused an increase in the rent in that place. The phone, we didn't make so much calls, so we had this electricity bill. Because we are more financially conscious now, we are putting off the freezers when we don't need it. So we have been able to spend just 40,000. Gas, the cost of gas actually went up, and we actually spent, for whatsoever reason, I don't know, we spent more. Water, maybe the children are on vacation, so we spend more on water this session. Then waste removal, because they are at home also, you spend more on waste removal. So you can see that the moment I'm putting this, the system is telling me where I'm seeing immediately where the difference is going. So you know where your money is going to per time. You understand? So maintenance and repair. If we never have any cost to do any maintenance and repair in the house, so we don't need to put anything there. We just leave it blank. You don't need it. You go to the next expense. So here, the monthly provisions we are making for the vehicles. If we have two vehicles, the taxi, let's just do, we were able to do almost 35,000 because there was so much movement during this period. Insurance, I'm just putting hypothetical figures, so let me just be faster with this so as to save time. I just want us to have a view of what we are talking about in this. Okay, all right. So let's do, because of time, just impute all the figures there. Now, what it comes to this point, I'm tempted to put in all these things. You see, the moment I put in the housing, the actual housing cost, this is what we projected, and this in the summary sheet, you see the actual, you see the transportation, you see the actual. So there's a deficit here. So we will continue and do all. The moment you are done, please, I need you to spend time to do this in this week. Do this week, please. Now, when we are done, there's something that is critical that I want to bring to our attention, and it's in this place. I want you to come down to this place. You are going to see something here. You see projected. You know, we are talking about your needs, the 50-30-20 budget rule. But in reality, a lot of persons have learned to even adjust this rule to fit their finances. Now, for someone who is a student, you are not having so much, or maybe you're a bachelor, your expenses you might not need to spend up to 50% on your wants, maybe on your needs, I mean. So you can adjust. But when you are adjusting, make sure you favor your future more than the present. You favor the future. Here, look at what we've just done here. And with what we've just done here, the needs here is 60%. The fund, you know, the needs was supposed to be 50%. But because of maybe current reality, we moved it to 60%. So the wants is supposed to, that's the fund, is supposed to be 30%. But we made a reduction to 10%. We made it to 10%. And then the future, which is supposed to be 20%, we jacked it up to 30% because we are more interested in the future, what we're going to be earning in the future. So here you can adjust, but make sure you favor the future more in your adjustment. Now, when you now do your budget, you will know whether you are overshooting. Just look at this place. Okay, if this is what we have projected, this is what we said we can do, but this is what we budgeted for. Now, on the actual, as we are imputing the figure on the actual percentage also will come here. When you begin to see that your actual, the percentage here outweighs these ones here on this side. Oh, I'm tempted to just go ahead, but you just go do it. If you have challenges, if it's not jiving, then you will just put the comment in the comment section. I promise this particular video, I'll be watching out for your comments to help you in getting it very well, where you need assistance, because this video is already very, very lengthy, but I'm sure you are enjoying what you are listening to. So in this aspect, you begin to look at, how do I control? Maybe by the time when you are done, maybe your needs has gone to about 70%, your fund has gone to 20%, whatsoever. Just once you compare and you see that these figures are far beyond this, then there's need for concern in your finance. Then you need to consult a professional to help you to see how you can realign your expense. We'll be there to assist you at a fee anyway. So you just do this, help yourself. It will help you to organize yourself and organize the future. A link to this will be put in the description box, in the description area And I want you to really look at this and help yourself to have a better life. Plan for that future that you really desire. This is a practical means of doing your setting up your family budget. Remember, do it with your wife, your spouse, and probably, if it's possible, do it with the children also. I'm sure you have gained something in this. If you've gained value, I want you to put great value in the comment section. Type great value. And if you want more content, any area in which you want more explanation, I'll be glad to read on it. Please don't send it to our WhatsApp calls. Put your comments in this session and we will gladly attend to it. I'm so happy and grateful that you are part of this and you actually benefiting from this. I would like you to do something now. Click on the subscribe button now. Click on the subscribe button. You'll be getting very soon. I'm going to be talking about investment that you need to go into, how you need to go into those shares. For those of you that are in love with crypto, I've been trying to avoid it. I'm going to be talking about the crypto market. I'm going to be talking about dealing with the currency market and every other thing as smart parents. And this is where we are going to end it for today. Go ahead, print this. Make sure you download and you work with it. Now, every month you need to do it. And as you do it, you print it out or you save it somewhere so that you can track your progress in the course of the week. Make sure also, I don't want to forget this, everything is allocated. If you can't see anywhere to put the money under your savings or the investment, so that you always have a zero budget at the beginning. I want to say a big thank you. I'm grateful because I know that you are clicking on the subscribe now and you are sharing the video also. I'll be looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. We'll be talking about investment. Please kindly click on subscribe so that you get a notification once the video comes out. Once again, is your friend and partner, Olushola Pokuola. God bless you. Have a wonderful, supercharged, planned future ahead. Bye-bye.
Waking up at dawnlight, breaking through, chasing dreams, no time to lose. In this race we strive and grind, motivation fuels the mind. Gonna rise up, we won't fall, breaking barriers through it all. Step by step our journey's clear, success is closer, don't you fear. Challenges we face headstrong,